Hello and welcome to another Pie and Smith production. We're here today to preview the afternoon session of day 13 of the World Darts Championship. So there's 3 games in the afternoon. They're all round 4 games. They're all first to 4 sets, and a quarter-final awaits for the winners. So the first game this afternoon, live on Sky Sports, will be Vincent van der Voort against Daryl Gurney. I'll hand you straight over to the main man, Matt Pieman Hill, who's going to talk to you about the first game.
Cheers, Adam. Yeah, so we'll have the round 4. It only just begun last night, and it's going to be concluded by the end of today. So it's getting frightfully close to the end of the tournament. But that does mean that every game is a high quality encounter now. And to be honest, we started off round 4 last night with 2 4-3 matches that went to the final leg. So that shows how close a lot of these games are going to be. So plenty of people will be looking at the sets markets, over 6.5 sets. It's going to land in, it's already landed in 2 out of 2 of these games. And I won't be surprised to see it happen in a few more of these. Although there are a couple more that look, at least on paper, to be a little bit more clear cut. Not sure on this one, really. I do see Daryl Gurney coming through this one with Vincent van der Voort, but it very much depends on which Vincent van der Voort turns up. I didn't see Vincent getting to this stage, to be honest. He was going to play one of Boris Kirchmer or Ron Meulenkamp in round 2. We thought that could be Boris Kirchmer. It ended up being Ron Meulenkamp. He was 2-0 down in that match and came back to win 3-2. Played quite impressively in the last 3 sets. And then a result that really makes you take a closer look at the form. He knocked out Nathan Aspinall 4-2. Not sure how much to read into that one either, to be honest. Nathan Aspinall, a man that I said in the preview, I thought was quite vulnerable out of all of the seeds. And so it proved. He'd already dodged a few match starts against Scott Waite. Didn't look at his best throughout this game, Aspinall, to be honest. And van der Voort, you've got to give it to him. There was at least 2 or 3 sets in that match. I know you were impressed with him, Adam, where he did step up and throw some lovely darts. But the problem with Vincent is he does throw some, he does have some sets off sometimes, and he can go missing in games. And generally, when you get to the latter stage of the tournament, you're going to be facing players who won't allow you to go missing for games. And I think he faces one here today with Daryl Gurney. Gurney, the player I've been most surprised by in a positive sense in the entire tournament, came in with absolutely no form. He'd had a pretty rotten year, and he'd put in a fantastic performance to beat Willie O'Connor in the second round, averaging over a ton. And then backed that up yesterday in a fantastic game with Chris Dobey, where he averaged over a ton again. He was 40-something% on his doubles again. So, honestly, I can't give you enough praise about Daryl Gurney. And normally when I do this, it results in somebody getting beat 4-0. So, I don't want to have the Simon Whitlock effect with him, but I've been really, really impressed with him. He's got another good winnable draw here in Vincent van der Voort. I'm expecting this game to possibly go 5 or 6 sets in the favour of Gurney, 4-1 or 4-2, I think. You're on mute, Adam.
Well, that's the first time that's happened, really. I
know, I'm amazed. I've never done that, to be honest. Yeah. Amazed.
Yeah, it's like the phrase of the year, isn't it? You're on mute. Anyway, Daryl Gurney is 1-2. Vincent van der Voort's 13-8. I think with Vincent, it's just whether his doubles are on or off. I think there's no in between with van der Voort. His scoring's there. He loves a 180 as a big scorer, as many of the Dutch players are. But it's just whether his finishing's there. And like I say, there's no in between. You was looking at Gurney 4-2, possibly Pineman. That's the favourite in that market at just under 4-1. 4-1, it is 4-1. I possibly don't know if it'll be that clear cut. Van der Voort's going to have to up his game a little bit from when he played Aspinall. He was averaging just under 94. Gurney averaged nearly 102 yesterday, just under. So Van der Voort's going to have to up his standards a little bit. I think he can take at least 2 sets, to be honest, Van der Voort. So I'll be looking at 4-2 or 4-3 in this one. But yeah, Gurney has been a bit of a surprise package. He probably won't have surprised himself. He's got the self-belief, but it surprised people, viewers like us guys who, noted he didn't have any form going into this. And now he has. I think Gurney's the right fav and will fancy his chances, to be fair. The second game of the afternoon session is a biggie for me personally. I put up Ryan Searle to win this quarter at 25-1, to win the whole thing at 200-1. I think a couple of people have followed actually, which is remarkable given the form I've been in. Absolutely terrible. It is a surprise to see Stephen Bunting has made it this far to the last 16, to the last 8. Sorry, with a place in the quarterfinal, awaiting the winner of this. Yeah, so he's going to be favourite for this game, which is a strange position to be in on a 200 to 1 shot. And this is the shortest price he's been for any game since the first round. So he was mildly the outsider against us one. He was just the outsider against Hybrids as well, from as I remember. So yeah, he's had a day off. Stephen Bunting was in action yesterday. He is in decent form, Bunting, by his standards in the last couple of years. James Wade was off yesterday. I know he hit a 9-darter, but he only averaged 87. And as you highlighted to me, Pineman, James Wade in a couple of the opening sets yesterday was averaging in the 70s. He's had an off day by Wade standard. And Bunting putting away nicely. So, yeah, in this market, Searle with his 8 to 13, Bunting's 13 to 10. I won't be having a bet on the game individually, but obviously I'll be cheering on Searle. What did you make of it, Pineman?
Well, I think this is, like, for many reasons, possibly the most intriguing game of the day. I don't expect it necessarily to be the highest in terms of quality, and I certainly don't expect it to be, one that people are most looking forward to tuning into. But just two players with so much intrigue around them. Stephen Bunting, let's not forget, this was a BDO champion of years gone by who's really struggled for form in recent times. And he's had COVID this year and had a long break off with it. So to come back and done what he's done, he was on the brink against Andy Bolton in round 2, managed to produce some great darts to turn that game around. And then to beat James Wade yesterday, well, he was largely unfancied, wasn't he? And Wade was having an off day. You're quite right. Even though he went 2-0 up, it was quite clear that he wasn't at the races. And if Bunting could just get his game in like slightly higher check than it was, because he was outscoring Wade, but not taking his chances. Wade was taking his chances. I'm not going to say typical Wade because that's what the commentators tend to lean on. I just thought it was under par Wade, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, the way Wade celebrated winning the first set, you'd never see James Wade normally do that. He knew he was struggling. He knew he was going to be lucky to get through that game, and he didn't, as it goes. The 9-darter, one of the most bizarre 9-darters you will ever see. I think it was thrown in between something like, I think he lost 5 of the 6 legs, and the one he won was a 9-darter. It was just utterly bizarre. But there you go. But let's focus on Bunting. A really good performance. You can see his confidence is building in every interview that he gives. He said yesterday, the bullet is back. I'm feeling really good. I've been like no pressure on me. I'm just going out playing my game, and it shows. Ryan Searle, as you put up at the start, well, he's one of the only remaining players to have been in since round 1. Where he had to survive a real scare against Danny Loudby. And to be honest, he hasn't had anything near that kind of scare since. Dispatched Jeffrey Deswan, who couldn't finish his dinner despite a raft of 180s, and then won a very decent battle with Kim Hybrex, where both players probably didn't hit the heights, looked a bit nervous, maybe understood the scale of the situation, but Searle's prevailed. He looks ice cool on his doubling, and that is always a good thing to have in the later stages of a tournament. You need someone that you can rely on to. There'll be some pivotal moments where Searle will have 1 dart at tops, and you would fancy him to pin it the way he's been playing, to be honest. I think this game will go largely on Stephen Bunting's doubles. I've been really impressed with his scoring, but his doubles have been hit and miss. When they're on, they're really on. And when they're not, they're really not. And I think Searle, you know what you're going to get from him. He's going to turn up. He's going to hit decent on his doubles, solid scoring. He's not going to panic or get flustered. But if Bunting plays like he did in the last couple of sets yesterday against Wade, I think he maybe would have too much for Searle. But Searle, the more reliable of the pair. Bunting probably got the slightly higher ceiling. Very intriguing game. Not one for me to get involved in, but definitely one I'll be watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's just mad to think that for Ryan Searle, like you say, who played in the first round, I think he's probably the only player left of the 16 as we speak that played in the first round. To be odds on in a round 4 game, I think is remarkable, really. It can go two ways. Either the pair of them are thinking, "Wow, I'm further than even I'll probably be expecting in my wildest dreams, and I've got a free hit at making it to the quarterfinal," or they go in there and put pressure on themselves, thinking, "Right, I can win this game today, and I could be in a quarterfinal." So I think there's two ways to look at it: either pressure or a free hit. So, like you say, I mean, I'm on Searle, and I'll be watching him and with my fingers crossed.
I will just chuck in. I've realised he's he's one of 2 players to come through from round 1, along with Dirk. Dirk from round 1. But they've both done fantastically. And to be honest, in our preview, we did say 2 of the round 1 entrants that could have a run. So we did give them both a good thumbs up there.
Yeah, absolutely. The final game of the afternoon session is Devin Peterson against Gary Anderson. I've had strong opinions on Devin Peterson before and during this tournament. He was better yesterday against Jason Lowe, winning 4-0. Probably flatters him a little bit because I thought Jason Lowe was way below where he could have been, and Peterson was, only just a tad above where he was in the second round, where I was disappointed. But 4-0 win nonetheless. Peterson's scoring was there yesterday. I think he's still got some work to do on the finishing side of the game, as was the case in round 2. But at least his scoring was there yesterday. He takes on Gary Anderson, who came through what some people are calling a controversial contest against Mensur Suljovic. I'm not quite in that camp, but Gary Anderson, a 2-time world champion, he's 8-11. Devin Peterson's 11-10. Very intriguing, this one, Pime, and I'll let you tell us what you think first.
Well, I'll pick up with Devin Peterson where you said that, because on the bare form, you look at that and you see 4-0 yesterday. You think, he must have been in good nick, I think he threw 9 180s in that match, and his finishing ended up being around the 40% mark, but that does not tell the story of this game. Jason Lowe, not only was he way below par, I mean, Michael Smith must have been watching that thinking, that is typical that you turn up against me and play like that and then play like this. The occasion got to Jason Lowe, there's no doubt about it. He would regularly go for a combination finish, pin the 2 trebles, and his double would nearly be off the board. His nerves on the double, he completely heads gone. He was 3 out of 4 on his first 4 attempts at double. He then missed his next 12 darts at double. So Devin Peterson was playing someone who, and he referenced this in his interview afterwards, he said, I knew Jason was having huge problems on his doubling. Well, that allows a player of his quality to play with the freedom and confidence, knowing that I'll try and hit it. If I miss, I'll probably be back. I'll probably be back again and again and again. Jason Lowe spurned about 5 darts to level it up at 1-1, I believe. So, look, I don't think we could read too much into Peterson's doubling stats in that game. He was under no real pressure at all. By the third and fourth set, he was chucking in maximums like they were going out of fashion. But that's all well and good when you're under no pressure, I'm not saying he can't deliver it against Gary Anderson. I'm just saying that what I saw yesterday doesn't make me think, he's going to play really well against Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, someone that we would never have thought would be this short, but that's a testament to how the draw has gone around him with the likes of Michael Smith falling and stuff. And Gary has managed to get through his 2 games, but had well documented problems against Mensur Suljovic. Basically said, if this is the way darts is going, I'm going to jack it in. But that's just classic Gary, to be honest. He loves a whinge. I wouldn't read too much into his interviews. Devin saying yesterday that he was going to walk to the wrong table to piss Gary off. So, I mean, I can't see Devin Peterson engaging in them kind of mind games. Gary Anderson knows that this is a really good chance for him to, he's one of the most experienced heads left in this tournament. There's a lot of people who are getting to this stage for the first time, and Gary is not one of them, multiple world champions. So he knows this is an opportunity. I know he's made some interesting noises about not practicing and not caring and concentrating on next year, but I don't believe that for a second. I actually think Gary's game is in a better place than people are giving it credit for. When Gary Anderson don't fancy it, he can roll over. Especially in the last year, we've seen some shocking performances from Gary Anderson. But he's really dug in and got over the line against Mensur. I was really impressed. I was worried after a couple of sets he was just going to get fed up with that and chuck it in.
He was on the brink. He was on the brink.
But he dug in. He got through it, and I think he'll have too much for Devin here. I was really interested to see how these markets opened up. They actually opened up 10-11 either way, and quite rightly, the money's come for Gary Anderson. He's going to come off. He's got to go off a clear favourite now. Still couldn't put anyone off Gary Anderson in a multiple. I think Gary gets the job done today, personally.
Yeah, it's to go 7 sets is 9-4, so that would be 4-3 either way. I personally could see that happening and think that might be a decent bet in this game. Just on Gary, I mean, I'm on record as saying I think his killer instinct or his X factor's gone, and I think that started mainly in that controversial Grand Slam final against Gerwyn Price, and it's too easy to wind him up. Mensur, and because Gary comes onto the stage, right? He's talking about this table. I mean, which is ridiculous. He's talking about this table. When he enters the stage, he already knows straight away while the music's still playing, he already knows that apparently Mensur's gone to the wrong table. Smiles. Doesn't do anything about it. Carries on the game, gets himself peeved off for large parts of the game, finishes the game and smiles again. So Gary Anderson is rolling over to these antics too easily. If you've got a problem, and I said this when Gerwyn Price bullied him out of that Grand Slam final, simple as that. And Mensah was on his way to bullying him, but the other day. But unfortunately, it put Mensah off probably as much as it did Gary Anderson. What you need to be doing, right? If someone's winding you up, you need to either give it them back, get in their face, walk off, do something ridiculous yourself. But he's not doing any of that. He's just taking it and he's just going along and smiling. Like Gary Anderson won the other night, but if he'd have lost, it's not good enough. I don't think he cares as much as what he used to, and no. that sounds harsh for a two-time world champion and one of the best players of the century, this decade. But I do think that's the case. And fair play to him the other night. Yeah, he got the job done in difficult circumstances for him, but he's making it too easy for other people to come and wind him up. I do agree with you. I don't think Devin Peterson's one of those people. There might be others. Dirk, Glenn, they might.
Well, look, he'll be playing Dirk or Glenn if he does get through, and I can guarantee you Dirk will be giving it big licks if he hits it. And Glenn Durrant's quite a slow player himself, so more trouble awaits if he does get past Peterson. And you're right. Look, if he's going to win big major titles again, it's not just about getting back on the practice board. We know you're a quality player, Gary Anderson. You've got to address these issues. We've said it far too many times. Gets embroiled in mind games and arguments, and he never comes out the winner really out of them. So if I was him, I would be having a chat with maybe some kind of psychologist or finding some kind of way of dealing with this, because it's going to cost him any chance of getting back to the top of darts.
Yeah, I mean, gone were the days where I would have looked at Gary Anderson to run away with this game. Previously I'd have been looking at the likes of 4-0, 4-1, just because I don't think Devin's hit the heights. But I think Devin's scoring is going to be enough for him to win 2 or 3 sets, and that's why I think, like I say, over to go 7 sets is 9-4. That would give you some interest either way. But that wraps up. We're going to split it into 2 today, so that's going to wrap up the afternoon preview, if you like, and we'll be back with another 3 games in the evening. So thanks for watching. Speak soon.
Cheers, guys.